Hey guys, back with another Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 56. And we got a great podcast for you guys today. We're going to be talking about KOC Remaster coming up, Chinese New Year coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about what to expect, what to do, prepare, how to take advantage of the events, how to take advantage of the remaster. We're going to answer some questions about jewels. We're going to answer questions about Legion. A lot of questions. Again, if you have any questions or things you want me to ask me, DM me on Discord at Echo MSM or YouTube comments. Get a lot of those. Easiest way to get answers is through YouTube comments. So feel free to ask any questions below. And then we're going to finish off with just playing a little game called Overrated, Underrated. And just talking about breaking down some things that I think will help people make better decisions. Again, a few episodes, podcasts, getting a lot of questions about gear, kind of prioritizing. So I think I'm just going to find another way to answer the questions and just tell you what's a little bit overrated and what I think is highly underrated and why. So before we get into the questions and answers, this is from Ashina MSM. Hi, bro. BA or physical damage, which jewel does better in your opinion for bossing? And, I get this for boss attack, for PD jewels, magic damage jewels, EXP jewels, right? And the answer is usually pretty consistent, but it always comes back to me asking the question, what is your build like, right? And what I mean by that is, what are your flames scaled to? What is a lot of your gears scaled to, right? Whether it's physical magic attack to EXP, to boss attack, which one gives you the best bang for your buck? It's pretty simple, right? Like if you have more flames that are tailored toward EXP build. If you have more flames tailored toward boss attack. And if it's HP MP, then physical damage jewels are usually the best, because overall, straight just looking at jewels, the physical damage, magic damage jewels are the best. The only way boss attack becomes better is, of course, if your flames scale to boss attack. Only way EXP jewels scale better are if you have EXP jewels, if you have EXP souls, if you have EXP accessories, things like that. And so it really depends on your build and sort of your funding range, right? Boss attack has higher potential, the highest potential. Because of the mythic flames when it's scaled to boss attack, crit damage, physical, magic damage, physical attack, magic attack is just exponentially greater. And it feels like that is what you would imagine the best in slot bossing set would be, right? Boss attack makes sense. It doesn't make sense for the best training gear, the best bossing gear to be EXP build. And it doesn't even really make that much sense for HP MP to be the best bossing build, right? Boss attack should be the best bossing end game. But it's hard for me to say that's just the best answer, because everyone's funding range is different. And boss attack doesn't necessarily always scale very well for middle tier, or even kind of upper tier, lower tier players, because they don't have enough gear that scales boss attack. For example, Absolab 4 set gives 20% boss attack. Three set of M labels, the 3-3 M labels, if you've ever heard of it, gives an extra 10% boss attack. Right? And then people start re-rolling potentials to boss attack. And then the jewels obviously are better. And then the souls, boss attack souls are better. So those you can see kind of builds off of each other. It has nothing to do with emblems. It has nothing to do with if your armors, Absolab outfit armor gives boss attack. All of those things scale to boss attack. So that is why the accumulation helps scale boss attack better, while as, HPMP is, you need level 50 Absolab, level 50 Necro, level 60 Absolab. You need the outfit over the top and bottom in order to get the maximum scaling. And obviously, to maximize that as well, you need final damage souls to get the peak, right? So there are levels to it. I think the simplest answer, kind of thinking about what fits you best, is think about what your gear, your flames are scaled to, and just stick to that. Um, I tell people not to look too far ahead, because whenever they try to look too far ahead, like thinking, at the end game, this is gonna be my build. The meta changes all the time, right? So you can't, like, you're gonna end up costing yourself who knows how much trying to re-roll and trying to predict what the meta is gonna be like, 6 months, a year down the road. I would say just kind of focus on what you have currently and start just building off of that, and not trying to re-roll perfect flames, not trying to re-roll potentials and souls all the time, to match someone else's gear that you've seen that is doing a ton of damage. You got to do it case by case, and it's a very, it's not cut and dry, it's not black and white. It really is more complicated than that. But I would like to tell you guys that I know some of the best end game top DPSs in the server, in the world. There's some in EXP, there's some that are boss attack, there's some that are physical damage, or physical damage, magic damage with the final damage souls, right? So you can excel in all three aspects, with all three builds. It really, again, just depends on which route. Just be consistent across the board with your build and go from there. But that's a great question. It's tough to answer. I don't want to lead you guys astray or anything, but thank you for that question. All right, so question number 2. Getting this a lot, but Sleeping V. Which class would be good to use after the remaster? And he also mentioned, what do you recommend bossing, farming? And I'll be honest, they're all going to be great. They're all going to be insane. I think I just prefer, it kind of just depends on your play style. I really do think that all of them are going to be great in both. I'm not too sure about Thunderbreaker. If I were to say the 5th place is probably Thunderbreaker, but I think Nightwalkers are going to be very good. I don't know if they're going to be the best Thief just after remaster, because they're sort of lagging behind currently, and it seems like they're even a pretty good improvement as far as lines and playstyle would probably put them arguably on the level of like a Night Lord and a Shadow and a Dual Blade. I don't know if it's going to be that much better, but I think post V4, Nightwalkers are going to be insane. Mobbing wise, they're already good, so they're only going to get better there. Wind Archers, again, already great mobbers, only going to get better. Bossing, I expect them to get better, hit harder, more lines. Wind Archers are going to be incredible. I think they probably will be the best archer, overall archer, and no surprise, right? When you get the full-on remaster, they should be. And then Dawn Warriors are going to be amazing as well. I mean, I can't say anything bad about them, right? They're going to be flashy. They're going to have huge attack range. They're going to have burst. They're going to have insane burst. They're going to have a ton of lines. They're going to hit harder, right? Their clones are going to hit harder. And just, I think their mobbing is going to get better too. I don't think they have great mobbing right now, but I can imagine with the pictures the videos that I've seen, just aesthetically pleasing. They're going to have a map clearers, and if anything, they're just going to look badass. They're just going to look like really fun to play and hit like a truck. And then Blaze Wizards, already great mobbers, one of the best, and I think they're just going to get better. Bossing, I heard that they're going to be insane. They're going to be very good. I don't know if they're going to be on the level of Loomies, which I think is the best mage right now, but just the fact that they could be in a discussion is a win. Huge win. And it's fire. It looks sick. Looks badass. Yeah, I think those 4, you just got to figure out which one you like. Do you like archers? Do you like mages, thieves, warriors? And the Thunderbreakers, I think, just, they're going to be good, but just, if I had to choose one, they'd be in 5th place. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, but no one seems to be as excited for Thunderbreaker as for those other classes. But yeah, excited to see it nonetheless. It's been long overdue. And then a couple questions about gearing. Alan Huang 7195. If Ancient Weapon, just wanted to know if Ancient Weapons still be usable, because I invested a lot, 31 SF, level 44, and don't know if I need to change Necro Weapon or not. I think Ancient Weapon is great. The path to Chaos is much easier. The path to level 50 is much easier. And to be honest, I think for majority of classes, getting a level 50 weapon is not really a huge priority anymore. I think upgrading the armors for the max damage cap is probably a higher priority for 9 out of 10 classes. And then I think the only issue is fair trade. But I just think that, if anything, make a project on the side, right? If you have CDD alts, just make it a tradable one, throw some Star Force into it, attempt Necros, and because, if you get stones, if you get powders, that's gonna, only is gonna be invested in the project weapon, while you can still use your armor stones, Necro attempts, ancient attempts. You can still use your armor powders for building up your other gear. So it's not going to overlap or anything as far as resources. It's just, I just don't think for most classes, weapons have that great of an impact once you're at a certain level, right? Like level, 40K to 45K to 50K, you're usually held back at that point by max damage cap. So I would say it shouldn't be as huge of a priority as building up in cap and, your ancient armors or your necro armors or whatever it is. So hope that helps. I get that question a lot, and I always say build that project on the side, because fair trade is OP. And the last question from Holy Otter, my guy Holy, number one paladin in our server, just trolling us. But question: how do you reach 8,200 legions so quick? And it's funny because I was DMing him about congratulating how he was going to reach 8,200 too. He was right behind me, and I just hit it a few weeks ago, and I've learned there are a lot of different strategies to getting your legion up in general, right? But if you're serious and you want to get from like 6,700 to 8,200, that means you're pretty on the higher end whale level. And so the best thing that I did that worked for me was I was trying to do CDD ult, so getting SF 160 at the same time as doing Legion, right? And Legion my goal was to get to SF 180, which is extremely challenging. But what I did was I got top and bottom, right? Ancient top and bottom, got it to around 15, 16 Star Force each. And so what I did was I cut those all the way down to, a few times to one cut left. And then when it got to 0 cuts, instead of using it and leaving it on one character, I actually threw it back in the trade server, and I posted it for like 1.1 bill each piece, and they sold pretty quickly because SF16, SF15, that's pretty cheap for, creating rating exalts or whatever it is. And so that's how you kind of make your money back, and then you buy a new set, right? And so I focused on like warrior classes for the top and bottom, and then it went to whatever was cheapest in trade server at that time, and I did all whatever mages or pirates. And so I kind of built it up that way, and then I did SF18 for the rest of them. So that was about, anywhere from 130 to 180 per piece, 180 mil. And so it is pricey, right? But I thought it was, as I was selling nodes and as I was making mesos and as I was selling Absolute stones and stuff like that, paid for itself, right? And then the only thing that was kind of needed to get to SF 180 was accessories. And so that is where doing your daily bosses comes in huge, right? You want to ideally get epic accessories. So from hard card bosses, and I think even some chaos bosses, and then Monster Park is a good one. But basically, the reason why you want epic is because you can cut them through scissors. Instead of using crystals, you can use gold leafs. And the gold leaf scissors are actually tradable account bound. So you could do it if you have gold leafs on your main, it's 400 gold leafs for one scissors for an epic. So that was huge, right? So I had, 2 necklaces, multiple rings, any combination of earrings with Monster Park, whatever it was. And so I got to SF180. And then with the growth packages nowadays, you can actually get free Star Force tickets, right? And you can, level up your hyper stats as you get over level 141 plus, and you can pay that for free, right? So you can get free Star Force. And so when you you cut the RA top and bottom from one character to the next, you just throw on a Star Force unique outfit for whatever is necessary to get to SF160, right? So it is kind of hard to follow, but understanding that, I try to put some examples of what my alts look like to give you guys a better idea. But I think it's worth it to use red mesos, to use hyperstat tickets to get to SF160, because that's a CDD alt forever, right? And so that's where the value is. And so I was at SF180, and I was just leeching, using guildies. I was using other characters, whatever it was, to get to 180. And if you choose to, right, you can buy EXP tickets off a trade server, right? So you can get, even from the growth packages, like I mentioned, you can get EXP tickets, snake soups, the 50%, the yellow tickets, the red tickets, the orange tickets. And then to get more EXP, what I did was I swapped over my link skills to the alt that I was doing on for the EXP for Mercedes and for, I think it's Cygnus Knights, to get extra EXP there. I would also move over my KT15 ring, my Kearney Tower 15 EXP ring onto my alt. So just little things here and there to get more EXP. If you're, I can even think of, doing Dimension Invasion, right? And once you get to level 140, 150, 160, you can do your dailies, right? Dimension Invasion gives free EXP tickets as well. The daily quest gets you levels, things like that. So it was not so rushed. But as I kind of hit almost the end goal, I was kind of pushing. You can buy tickets, EXP tickets for packages if you really so choose, but there's levels to it like anything else. But yeah, it's a grind. My Legion army is pretty nice, but it definitely isn't. It's not something that you can, you can kind of pay your way through it at a certain point, but it still takes time, right? It still took at like 300% EXP with the leeching, with a good party of one-shotters with kinship rings or PXP hypers or whatever it was. It still took I think 6 hours to get from maybe 4 to 5 hours to get from level 120 to 170 ish, 4 or 5, 6 hours. So you can't rush that thing. It's a grind, but yeah, once you get there, it feels nice. One thing to check off the list. But yeah, great questions. Again, I try to answer some of these questions every single podcast. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Or if you have any more private questions about gear, you want to screenshot me gear and have questions about tips and things like that, DM me on Discord, Echo MSM, at Echo MSM. All right, we'll be back and we'll talk more stuff. All right, before we get into this game of underrated, overrated, I just want to quickly talk about the event or the patch that's coming up. Next week, Remaster. It's time. February 6th. It's happening. But also keep in mind that Chinese New Year is coming up. And every year, Chinese New Year, if you don't know, it's a Moon Fragment event. It's a huge money-making event for whales to spend, Nexon to make money. It's basically a huge cash back event, right? You buy packages, you can purchase mounts, fashion stuff, you know, I don't even know, rating exalts, Star Force pack, Star Force stuff, all kinds of great stuff, right? It's people go crazy on it. But the one thing that I want to tell you guys, kind of just to take advantage of it, knowing that it's coming up soon, I would wait. If packages come out next week, right? I would wait to the very last minute, if you can, to purchase the packages. And the reason is because, or at least wait until the Chinese New Year event comes up, right? The moon fragment event comes up. So because in the past, they've just, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they throw packages out, and then the Chinese New Year event comes on Thursday, or the patch is on Wednesday, or whatever it is. And if you buy packages before, you're not going to get those points. You're not going to get those moon fragment points. So if you are going to spend whatever it is, right, on pets, usually come out, auto battle, rating exalts, everything. They usually give a 2 times fragments, whatever, for that first purchase. I would wait until the very last moment, if you can, to buy the purchase. Like if it's going to expire, 7 days expired, just wait until the Chinese New Year's event comes out, and then use it to at least get those fragment points. Just a little tip from experience from not doing that. So yeah, take advantage of the moon fragments if you're buying packages. And also if you're out there trying to take advantage, not buying packages, but want to take advantage of the market, check it out. Star Force packages, Star Force scrolls always get cheap. Mounts always get cheap. Fashion gets cheap. Ancient rating exalts usually get cheap because people are making those for the Star Force scrolls, and then they undercut each other. So keep an eye out for that. You don't always have to buy the packages or spend real money to take advantage of these kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna play this game, Underrated, Overrated. And I hope this helps some of you guys, understand how gearing is and what is not as great as it used to be, right? So we'll start off with an easy one, right? I guess they're all easy. Underrated, overrated. I'm going to do HP. HP is so underrated. It is arguably, in my opinion, the most underrated, stat that no one pays attention to, right? Everyone looks at a player card or someone's stats and they see their attack, physical attack, magic attack. And shocker, another big bubble is HP. Who would have thought, right? It's pretty important if it's in a big bubble, right? Versus, everyone just looks at crit damage and boss attack and then final damage on the side. There's a reason why HP is in big, bold, big bubble, right? And just think of it this way, right? There is nothing that gives you more security or makes you play a little bit more aggressive or helps you do a little bit more damage than knowing you're not going to get one-shotted, right? It's just simple as that. Like once you have experienced the ability to tank big skills, oh man, the amount of confidence that you can play with, the wiggle room that you have to do DPS or sometimes even avoid mechanics altogether, it is a game changer, right? And you'll see the upper tier players really take advantage of that, really understanding where they can, when they have to move away and when they can tank stuff and when they can save their iframes when normally they would have to use an iframe to survive an attack, right? And people talk about this in Damien. Arc was a great example, 120k for the lightnings. Like Hard Magnus back in the day, right? Surviving the orbs that flew down was huge. It's just every step of the way, HP has mattered up to a certain point, and it's not going to change, right? So just keep that in mind. It's always good, and the way to build your HP is through obviously exalting, building up your armor, but don't sleep on the accessories, right? A lot of people just throw in EXP accessories because it helps their build. I get it, right? More physical attack, more crit damage looks nice, but if you're lacking in HP, look at that accessory, right? That gives 1,000 HP. Look at the boss set bonus, the 5 set, the 6 set, the 7 set that gives more HP. Look at a potential that maybe gives you 2 to 3% HP percent. Look at that Kaiser Link skill that gives you 4% HP. Just keep that in mind, right? It's not the priority number one. Like, you're not going to take it over final damage or physical damage, but if you get a big number, or if you're lacking, if you want to do a little bit more damage, sometimes just having a little bit more HP over certain thresholds goes a long way for gameplay, for survivability, shocker, for DPS, right? Highly, highly underrated that I think people often just push away to the side. All right, the next one. I wanted to talk about clones. It's funny, right? Because a lot of the best classes have clones, because that's how, clones add on more lines. A lot of the best classes have a lot of lines, but they're clone lines, so they don't cap. And I think it's very overrated. I think clone lines can be overrated, especially in the current meta. It's Nightwalkers are a great example. Paladins are a great example, where Paladins have a lot of lines, but they're small lines, and they don't. I talked about before how 2 clone lines equals 1 regular line, right? So our line count is very high if you just look at it black and white. If you just look at it as line counts, all is all equal, but they're not all equal, right? And as your cap gets higher, you're not capping all those lines, right? And so in the current meta, clones aren't very good. Maybe in Guild Dungeon, where you're going to hit harder, you're going to cap. But in bossing, Mercedes, Paladins, once top DPSs, Dawn Warriors, Nightwalkers, Night Lords, they're all great classes, right? But they're not even... It's not just simply adding more cap because all your lines will cap, right? They have to play a little bit of a different game compared to like a Luminous or a Phantom or a Sia, where they cap everything. There's no clone lines. And so I think it's just important for people to understand that you can't compare one class to the other as far as gearing, right? If you have clone lines, you have to look at your lines. Are you capping those lines? Most likely not, especially if you have a decent 20, 30 mil cap. It's most likely that you're not capping those clone lines. So physical, magic attack matters, right? That's going to help you boost up those half of your lines, right? It's going to help you boost half your lines. And it could be, say you get 3K physical attack. That could help boost your lines from hitting 5 mil to 10 mil, right? For half your lines, that's a much bigger bang for your buck. That's a much greater DPS increase than if you gained, even 1 mil cap for half your lines, right? So you just got to keep that in mind. I think clones are great in theory, but not right now. Like, not in the current meta. It's just very challenging. Those clone lines just don't keep up with the current cap. And maybe it will eventually, but I think just keep that in mind. Just think about that. It's pretty overrated to have clone lines. Clone classes usually don't perform that great at the end game level with the max cap. All right, another one, emblem ratios. I think where I'm going this one. Overrated, right? And this is something I talked about in the last podcast, but I keep getting questions about this. What's the best emblem ratio for this X class, Y class? Should I swap over a boss attack emblem to a CE emblem, right? No. No, don't do it. Like, I was once 4-4 boss attack CD. And I was that person that was like, I need more crit damage. I need to have 8-0 crit damage, right? And so I ended up, eventually swapping out, getting new gear, selling my old gear for crit damage, paying more for premium for his crit damage. And guess what? Do you know what my damage did? You couldn't even tell, right? Sometimes it would go down, sometimes it would go up. Right? And I think that's what a lot of people realize when they make that change. It's kind of more just for your own peace of mind, almost for your competitiveness to say I got 8 crit damage. And guess what? Having 40 boss attack, having 4 boss attack emblems is min-maxing to the max, and it doesn't affect, and you won't even see that min-max difference. I'm telling you. Like, if anyone tells you that you need to have 8 CD emblems, they're living in 2021, right? They're living in 15 mil cap days when that was the highest cap. Shoot, that was in 2023. If you're so concerned about CD emblems, if you're going to spend more for that, it's just not worth the value. It's not worth the value for the gains that you are barely going to see, right? Think about this. You can get a whole nother, with decent nodes, which have been out forever, right? Speed infusion, decent speed infusion gives 9% boss attack. Decent sharp eyes gives 12% crit damage. You can get 5% boss attack, 10% boss attack, 10% crit damage from individual guild link skills now, right? You can get the link skills, right? I think, Cadena, Sia, Adele. How much final damage can you get? How much physical damage can you get? Crit damage, boss attack can you get from just link skills, from improving your Legion to get those extra blocks at 6,700, right? The point is there's so many more avenues to make up that difference. And at the end of the day, you're really just looking at, do you have a good balance wherever it comes from, right? Or do you have 100 boss attack, 150 boss attack, 180 boss attack? Do you have 400, 350, 400, 450 crit damage? That's all that matters. But the difference between 150 and 170 boss attack versus 400 versus 440 crit damage, it doesn't matter. It really is. There's other things that you could be caring more about that will give more bang for your buck, which is going to get to my next point, which is nodes. Highly, highly underrated. I'm going to keep harping on this. I talked about it in the last podcast. I'm going to talk about it again. And think about this. Nodes are lines. Leveling your V skills is straight lines. If you have a duration-based skill, V skill, which is at this point probably every class, whether it's a V1, V2, V3, whether you're increasing the duration of your skill or you're reducing the cooldown, or if you're doing both, that's more lines. And guess what? Cap story, line story. That's what it's all about, right? So if you want to know how to do more DPS, it may not be fancy, it may not be flashy, it's not going to show up on your skill, your stats page, right? It's not going to boost your crit damage percent, your boss attack percent, but guess what? Your damage is going to go up. You're going to hit more. You're going to do more lines. You're going to do more damage. I'm telling you, it's just that simple. And there's RNG to it, but there's still guaranteed gains, right? Don't just focus on things that, just keep that in mind. Right? Think about it that way, right? What is the benefit of this, part of the progression, right? 4% crit damage, if you're swapping out a 20% crit damage versus 10% boss attack emblems, which is 1-2% difference, versus you're getting your big burst skill up 30 seconds sooner. or you're getting 5 more seconds of Divine Echo, which is 5 more seconds of having twice as many lines, right? Or 5 more seconds of a place down skill that is going to be doing more damage while you're attacking as well, right? Hope that helps, right? And the last one, as I talk about Legion, right? I'm kind of this past few months have been very Legion link skill heavy for me. So I want to talk about that because I hope it helps you guys out in some bit as you guys start to build your Legion. The most underrated alts that I had the most fun with, that was the easiest to train, to do dailies with, that seemed to clear dailies the fastest. Mechanic, number one. Underrated. There's a reason why all the bots out there are using mechanics, right? It's no secret. They move fast. They have great rope lift. The kind of that rocket jump thing. They move fast. They can attack on the move. They have defensive guards. They're good. They're great. They are S tier alts as far as just doing dailies, right, and killing mobs. And then secondly, this is my top 3. I guess most underrated. And my second favorite one was Night Lord. Man, our Night Lord's good. Man, I feel like they hit hard. They kill everything on the map. Sudden raid, and then showdown. Since Remaster, Night Lords are very, very good. And their shurikens, I don't know what they do. They just fly around and kill stuff. And it feels like they are the fastest to clear dailies. To get those daily quests that you collect stuff, you kill mobs. Dimension invasions, they always have high kill rates. They're insane. Night Lords are a blast, and I love that class. And if you haven't seen that Normal Damien video that I just posted, check that out. I had a blast playing Night Lord as well. First time, kind of a long time. So, yeah, awesome class. And this is all pre 5th job. So even post 5th job, they're going to be even better. But this is all like pre-level 175. Night Lord's hyper skill isn't even that good. It doesn't even matter. They're insane. They're going to be insane from 4th job. So that's what's nice about them as well. Mechanics are good, from the beginning as well. From 4th job, 3rd job, 2nd, 1st job, they can move around extremely fast from the beginning. So those are 2 great ones. And then Bowmaster. Really love that class. Again, reason I like it is because from 2nd job or 3rd job, their best mobbing skills come out, and they just clear maps. They just clear stuff. Easy, nice and easy. Feels like they just, clear dailies fast. Their main skill, Bowmasters complain about their multi skill. I get it at the highest level. I'm only talking about alts level 175 and below, and they hit 2 platforms. They have their arrow platters. They have the I think it's barrage or not barrage. Whatever it's called, where they have the flying arrows going around. Yeah, really like those classes. Those are my 3 most underrated alt classes that I had the most fun playing and kind of leveling, not leeching, but actually doing dailies on that class. They seem to be excelling the most. But yeah, that is all I've got. Underrated, overrated. I hope that helped you guys, kind of give you guys, re-emphasize how important certain things are compared to others, right? Where you got to prioritize, how you should think about things, how to do more DPS, how to be efficient with your resources. And so, again, next podcast is going to be Cygnus Knights Remaster is going to be out. I'm hyped. Don't even play as Cygnus Knights. I'm hyped for everyone that is going to be benefiting from this. Shout out to Ed. First level 60. He hit his Absolab weapon. 7-set Absolab. Full level 60. He's at his stats are insane. I hope he shares it on YouTube. I hope he shares his Nightwalker gains. But pretty insane. The week before, Remaster, just kind of all coming all together all at once. That's who I'm excited for. We got Shan, Nightwalker in our guild as well. A lot of guys. Hung, Dawn Warrior, um, Stoke for him, Andy, Sepher, Wind Archers, and yeah, I'm hoping to get guests on. Again, I talked about it. I'm hoping to get these guys on to chat. Oh, Geminus, of course, the Blaze Wizard. Yeah, I'm excited. Got some stuff lined up. Hopefully, it comes together nicely, and we can get some good conversations with some very excited Cygnus Knights remaster mains um, of all classes. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the people that see me running dailies and reach out and say hi, and they love my videos, and then they appreciate all the stuff I do just on a daily basis. It's awesome, whether I'm on an alt or whether I'm on my main, whether I'm on my Demon Slayer. Um, Shout out to all you guys. I try to say hi as much as I can, so I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.